If you're like me, Garry's Mod has been a staple game in your life. It's one of those quintessential PC games that I think about whenever I think about Steam and the Source engine itself. And for me, it's been part of my gaming identity for well over a decade. So when Facepunch announced a spiritual successor to Garry's Mod, which was built on Source 2, promising deeper creative tools, C# programming layers, and even a direct-to-Steam publishing deal with no royalty fees, myself and so many others rejoiced because this meant we were able to experience Garry's Mod with that new coat of paint. And S&Box is out now, and I have to say it, the dream and vision that we were sold by Facepunch looks nothing like what is actually being shipped currently. Before we get into the problems, I really need to set the entire vision here because you can't understand why S&Box is so disappointing without understanding what made Garry's Mod. Garry's Mod has always been a game about creativity and player freedom. Whatever wacky idea you had for a game mode, a map, a weapon, a server concept, you were able to craft it with the flexibility of the Source engine and turn it into your own, well, mod. The community didn't just play Garry's Mod, they were actively building it. And some of the most watched games of all time on YouTube came directly from Garry's Mod, and I'm pretty sure, even if you aren't familiar, you know exactly what I'm about to say. Games like Trouble in Terrorist Town, games like Prop Hunt, even some of the more deranged RP servers that became their own subcultures. None of these were made by Facepunch. They were made by players who saw a S&Box and decided to build something inside it. In fact, Garry's Mod was so good that as a 13-year-old, I told myself I should be a YouTuber when I was way too young to know any better.
I just want to make a quick video on this, so I just went on GMod.
Yeah, that wasn't good. I should have really rethought that one. But that's the legacy S&Box is supposed to inherit. A playground of ideas with your friends, a platform that respects the creators who built the community in the first place. So let me break down what we actually got with S&Box. S&Box has an AI problem. I want to address this first because this is the single biggest issue that is plaguing this platform. And the way that Facepunch is actively handling it will tell you everything about the direction that this platform is heading. At launch, a lot of the content on S&Box is AI-generated slop. When you go to the game browser, the very front page, the place where players are supposed to discover new creative experiences, it is filled with AI-generated thumbnails attached to AI-generated games. Most of these games revolve around AFK XP farming, grass cutting simulators, hell, even stock simulators or crypto simulators, and just those empty grind loops designed to keep you logged in for hours, so the developer earns more from the engagement system Facepunch has built into the platform. This is the spiritual successor to Garry's Mod, a platform whose entire identity was built on the creativity that humans would be able to experiment with and have that player-driven culture that landed us in such weird but fun situations. And now that the front page of exploration is wallpapered with AI slop produced by people doing no real creative work, stealing from artists who never consumed, and getting paid by Facepunch for it. Garry Newman himself spoke to Rock Paper Shotgun about the situation, and here's what he said. Low quality, obvious AI created slop is going to be a growing problem in every creative outlet. We don't encourage using AI to be creative. We don't encourage using AI to create games for you, but we do acknowledge that it's a good learning tool and it's a good productivity tool. We'll be taking action to promote human creativity and push obviously AI created slop off the main page. Now, let's read between the lines a little bit because with this statement, there's a lot happening in those sentences that I just read because Garry is saying that he's not removing the AI slop. He's just simply pushing it off the main page. And he's not going to be banning AI generated games either. He's just making them slightly less visible. His own quote earlier this year said, eventually, the slop will just fall to the bottom. Nobody will be interested because they'll see it. That's the strategy. Hope the slop sinks on its own. Trust that the users will ignore low quality content. Take no actual action to remove the platform's biggest problems. When you tell the Garry's Mod community, a community that has spent well over a decade providing the most creative content and valuable things that drove players to your game, Garry's Mod. Now you're going to be telling them that you're going to allow AI slop to sit alongside their hard work and creativity, but just make it slightly less visible. You're telling that the creative legacy doesn't matter as much to you. It's not a great look when your spiritual successor has a front page filled with this. It's actually way worse than that. It's a betrayal of the principle that made Garry's Mod special in the first place. And here's the part that actually hurts me the most. The games that made Garry's Mod what it was are here. The creative experiments, the weird little ideas. You have your prop hunts, you have your trouble in terrorist towns, you already have your RP servers. Things that made Garry's Mod, and what brought us players to it. They still hold that spirit within S&Box in the way they exist. And the DNA of what made Garry's Mod special is in this platform. But you have to dig through the layers of AI slop to find it. And that's not a small distinction, that's the entire problem. The legacy of Garry's Mod isn't dead on S&Box, it's just buried alive at the moment. There are real creators on this platform doing real work, the same kind of work that built those modes I just talked about. Facepunch is letting that work get drowned out by all of the AI generated games that are trying to buy your time and attention so that they get a bigger payout than the others, is currently sitting on the front page. And on top of all this, we need to really talk about the microtransactions of this whole game, because this one is crazy. Day one, it's a $20 price tag to get in. Not that bad. But with the AI slop on the front page, a buried community of real creators, and microtransactions waiting in the menu before the platform is even stable, this is a platform that has not begun to earn its monetization yet. You don't get to charge $20 for us getting through the door and then sell cosmetic items on day one and let AI generated content dominate your storefront, all while the actual creators you're supposed to be empowering get buried in the noise. This isn't just disappointing to me, this is really off-putting, because this signals what Facepunch saw what GMod built and decided that the most important thing to extract from the legacy was a revenue model. Now let's talk about the side of S&Box that Facepunch is betting their entire future on, the game development portion of it. Because trying to use S&Box for game development makes it painfully obvious that this platform is a mishmash of whatever Facepunch decided to add or replace that day. Often the thing they added that day broke whatever game mode already existed within the closed beta, according to reports. And now that they're shipping it and charging $20 for it, the game was not ready to be sold for money in its current state. It needed much more time in the oven. It needed proper planning. Facepunch needed to decide what S&Box actually is before they decided it's ready to have a real market and a whole new suite of players come in. Then there's the whole engine side of it. The engine feels poorly optimized at the moment and frustrating to work with. Basic things are unclear. There's almost no useful documentation online because the platform shifted under everyone's feet for so long that documentation just couldn't keep up. I mean, that is just more so a development problem in general, but when you're trying to get people onboarded to your engine, you're gonna need to kind of solve that issue. And for a platform that is explicitly marketing itself as a creative tool, a place where amateurs and hobbyists can build their dream game modes and publish them to Steam, this is the most damning issue of all. Garry's Mod's success came partly from how approachable it was. A teenager in 2012 could open Garry's Mod, watch a YouTube tutorial, and start making something within an afternoon. S&Box doesn't have that because it has an actual C# integration, and for actual developers, hey, that's great. We get to have more depth and more flexibility with the games that we're building, but for those who wanted to come to just have fun and create some certain things, now it's going to start delivering a bit of obstacles. And without that documentation, the creative pipeline becomes a little bit more punishing for people to try. Now, granted, you still can go in the maps and build out some props and do some very basic things, but in order to get the actual game modes that you want going, it's going to be a little bit more work. I want to be fair for a moment because dunking on a launch without acknowledging the real possibilities isn't honest to me. There is a light here. There are real developers on S&Box right now making genuine creative experiences. There are people pushing past the broken tools and the AI noise and building things that hint at what this platform could be. There's already tons of players going into these game modes and trying them out for themselves and already building the community that Garry's Mod was building for so many years. The Source 2 engine can produce experiences that Source 1 simply cannot. And the C# integration opens doors that the Lua scripting language never could. The potential is absolutely real. And I'm not saying S&Box can't become what it was supposed to be, but potential is not what Facepunch is selling for $20 right now. Potential is not what justifies a launch that ships with majority AI slop on the front page. Potential is not what gives developers a stable platform to build on. And potential is not burying the creators who deserve to have their spotlight on the front page and are the ones who are keeping the GMod spirit alive on this platform. This is not the successor to Garry's Mod that we were hoping for. Garry's Mod was a community of creators given a platform that respected their creativity. S&Box is a platform that is allowing a free-for-all to happen, and charging $20 for that current free-for-all doesn't seem like a great incentive. But there's a path forward. Facepunch could remove the AI slop instead of silently pushing it down. They could pause monetization until the platform is more stable. They could elevate the real creators making genuine experiments instead of letting them get drowned out. They could remember why Garry's Mod mattered in the first place. But until they do that, S&Box is kind of a mixed bag, and I'm not sure if I truly recommend it just yet. I would say maybe wait for a sale or wait for some of the bugs to be fixed. Because in this current state, to me, it betrays the legacy it was supposed to inherit. And that to me is why S&Box is a massive disappointment, even though that light at the end of the tunnel can be seen, especially when playing Trouble in Terrorist Town and reliving my youth. Drop a comment below. Were you a Garry's Mod fan? Have you tried S&Box yet? Do you think Facepunch can course correct? Or is this what S&Box is going to be for the rest of time? I want to hear from the people who care about this community because frankly, your voice matters more than mine in this conversation. And if you haven't subscribed yet, hit that button. We cover gaming honestly here, and there's plenty more to come this week. I'll see you in the next one.